Hello guys, it's Blade here. Today I am going to talk about some of my favorite Void Titan builds, and later we are going to make video on each of them. Today I will just cover my favorite six. I don't know, there are six or maybe five Void Titan builds, and these builds are specifically for GM and Onslaught Salvation or any Onslaught. So my number one Void Titan build that I like the most is this one. It is the Peregrine Greaves. I think I'm pronouncing them right. So this setup is, in my opinion, is one of the best Void setup for GMs because it has built-in anti-champion capabilities, and you are not dependent much on the champion stuns on bad weapons. For example, this season we have very bad anti-barrier stun, which is only on scouts and shotguns, which is, I think, bad. Shotgun is alright, it can stun in one shot, but scouts are pretty bad. So with this setup you can clear any type of champion. So for unstoppables I am using this here, Tenacious Mastery, and you can also use Blast Furnace because we have unstoppable pulse rifle, and none of these build is dependent on the artifact mods. So like maybe one or two are good to have but not necessary for these builds. So with this setup we are using Vexcalibur for overshield, because when we deal damage with Vexcalibur we can charge its I don't know what call it, yeah, the Glaive energy, and we are using here the Lucent Blades to get more Glaive energy for our Vexcalibur. And here in the aspects we are using Offensive Bulwark and Controlled Demolition. So with Offensive Bulwark combined with the Shield Bash, you can one shot any single champion in the game. Like it literally does one shot every single champion when you have overshield and you bash it, but you only have to be in air to use this thing. So it reads their shoulder charge abilities, blah blah blah, blah, shield bash, deal bonus damage when activated in the air. So it is like you have to be in air for 1 second, and when you damage mini bosses, tormentors and champions, it does not consume your shoulder charge, it immediately returns it, and that's how you keep up the loop of the build. So we need an add clear weapon for this build. That's why we are using Commemoration. You can use any void heavy machine gun you want, there are many in the game right now. You can use Commemoration, you can even use this thing right here, Edge Transit. You can use both of these for add clear depending on the GM, and this is for I think Tinasha's Mastery is better than any unstoppable stun because it can also stun overload. Like, to though you don't need stun for the overload, because you can, as you can read here, the shield bash also suppresses your enemies. So when you shield bash overload, it instantly deletes it, so you really don't need an overload weapon. But for the fallen and the Vex overload, I prefer to use Tinasha's Mastery because Vex overload teleports and the fallen overload also teleports, and they have really good movement. So but for the Scorn and the Taken overload, you can just shield bash them and they instantly die, you don't need to stun them. And the barrier champion, you really don't need anything, you don't really need anything to stun for the barrier, it immediately gets deleted when you hit him with your melee. So there are actually two versions of this build. The number one version is by using offensive the bastion here to get yourself over shield, and then with it you will use the power weapon. Where it is? There it is. The heart shadow. Yeah, here it is. So you can use this thing to get invisible after every single shield bash. It is really good with this combo, and I love that. But personally, I like to use controlled demolition with this build with Excalibur. So the reason I use controlled demolition in every single one of my void build is that it is just too good to not use. Like, it is insane. It deals damage, it helps in ad clear, and it instantly gives you health. So with controlled demolition, you use your vortex or scatter grenades like it is a healing nade. You just throw it on your enemies and it heals you to maximum HP if it is vortex. So that's why I mostly use controlled demolition. And sometimes you are literally 1 HP and your shield bash or vortex grenade, or your even the sentinel shield or any super of in both of these you are using can save you if you have control demolition on. So it increases the survivability of void titan by 100 times. So this is my number one build for GMs. On the head we are using void harmonic siphon, and I'm using two heavy ammo finders to get more heavy for my commemoration. The reason I'm using two of these is because one helps you find ammo, and the other one with the like two copies of these you get more ammo, and it stacks with the scavenger mod. So here I am using the innervation for my grenade energy. You can use this if you want, but if you are manually reloading your Vex Caliber again and again, then you can use any mod right here according to your preference, but this is necessary, harmonic scavenger. And the special ammo finisher is really good. You can just spam special ammo, and we are running double, and this build is for fire team, not for solo, because for solo the hard shadow build is way better than this one. You can also use it to solo something, but then switch to the battle scar rather than double special. Okay, so on chest we are you should run any resistance which is required for the activity, and one loosened blade is good to get your maximum glaive energy. So the gameplay of this build has been uploaded on my channel. I have uploaded a lot of videos with this one doing GMs. Like, I have done light blade, I don't know, many GMs in the past and this season too. So this build is like, it is good in every single season, unless Bungie nerfs Peregrine Greaves. This build is not dependent on any of the artifacts mod. That's why I love it a lot. Like, it literally does not matter what artifact is this. It is the best GM void build. Okay, so the next build I love the most for GMs as well as for Onslaught is this Hoyle build, and it is an ability spam based build. Like, you just use your abilities 1, 2, 3, one by one. You start with throwing a grenade, and then immediately you use your class ability, and then you use your shield throw. So when you use your shield throw with offensive bulwark and the Hoyle regen rate, you get like for 5 seconds you get 800% grenade regen, which gets you instantly back the scatter grenade, and you can keep up the loop. And again, offensive bulwark and control demolition. You can also use bastion or bastion, I don't know what you call it. You can also use it in offensive bulwark, but it will slow your ability spam. That's why I love this. The reason I am not using bastion is because I really don't need it due to having deterministic chaos right here. So returning players and new players who are new to game, or many of you may don't know this, but when you are using deterministic chaos, it states by holding down the trigger, every fourth bullet becomes a heavy projectile that makes targets volatile. So when it makes target on volatile, it actually heals you for 40 HP or 30 with control demolition. So control demolition has the best pairing with this weapon right here, the deterministic chaos, and it also has anti-barrier rounds. So it is, I think, the best combo. If you are running a GM, this is the best combo for Hoyle and control demolition. And the secondary I am using is uh, VS gravitic arrest, or you can use any favorite void weapon you want, and I prefer rake angle with this because I love glaive personally. And you can also use this thing right here to stun overloads, as well as the unstoppable champions, so you can use any of these right here. So this build controls all three type of champions and has good survivability, has good ability spam, good ability regen. The fragments, these three fragments are in most of my videos, oh sorry, not videos, not builds on void. I like these four fragments a lot. You can not use this thing if you have problem with your stats. You can switch to this thing right here, the where it is, where it is, wait, yes, you can switch to this one, or you can also switch to this thing right here. And with void one, the Inmost Light, I am using instability. And with my previous build, I was using here the echo of obscurity to get invisible because it is necessary for that. And we are using here the instability to get volatile rounds to both of these. So even more healing. Volatile rounds are like healing you every second for 40 HP, so I think it is must have, and it also increases our strength stat, so I like it to use with it. And in the mods, the build is dependent on heavy ammo to heal yourself, so I am using these two mods again for the heavy ammo. But you can also use this grenade to get super regen. You can switch to this grenade right here if you want to get more supers. I like to use Twilight with it to have, because the add clear potential of this build is good, but Twilight are using this weapon, oh sorry, super, can you can deal damage to champions and bosses etc. Okay, so in here we are using firepower to create orb of power. This is for our both fusion and what it is called, deterministic chaos, because it has terrible reload, oh sorry, magazine capacity. This is for again our deterministic chaos. Like if you are running deterministic chaos, you must run void holster, otherwise I don't know, Chablo says you are bad at game if you don't run void holster with deterministic chaos, and I think he is right. This weapon has only 48 ammo in its magazine. And again, the special finisher, if you are using double specials, okay, so this is build is solid. Again, this build is not dependent on any of the artifact perks. None of these is helping this build right now. It is like you can say you don't need any champion stuns with this build. You don't need anything. It has everything built in with deterministic chaos. You can manage, it has like 400 rounds, and in one round with controlled demolition equipped, even without voice surge, you can take down one barrier champion. So when you are using both all of these weapons with good sense of ammo economy, you can literally have ammo. And again, this build is very good in fire team content. I'm not talking about solo content. I don't solo GMs, I don't solo anything. I like to play in teams because I am bad at the game, or average, actually below average at the game. So it is good. These builds, I'm telling you again, everything is about in fire team, or at least 2-man activities. Okay, so our third build is going to be this one. So I love this one, for it is for the Onslaught specifically, and when we have anti-barrier auto rifle, it will also be good for GMs. But right now we don't have anti-barrier auto rifle, so it is okay in GMs, but for Onslaught it is really good. It has really good gameplay loop. It is simple. In one wave you use these two weapons for ad clear, and in the other wave you're going to use Sentinel shield for ad clear. It is heavily based on ad clear, so in any activity which is ad dense, you can carry this build and it works wonders. It is solid. So for this build, again, scatter grenade is in my opinion the best void grenade. Yes, you can use vortex grenade, but with scatter grenades you get more grenades with each devour, kill and everything, because the grenades which have longer cooldown actually gets less ammo with wait, I'm getting a call. Okay, so offensive bulwark, because we get 2 shield throws in our super if we are using offensive bulwark. So, and control demolition again to just get healing as well as killing explosions. So, and echo of reprisal is good for this build. You get even more super energy, and I like to use this, but you can use any of these right here. And these two are the most important fragments on void on each subclass. I think these two are the most important fragments you need to have. These two are reversible. You can interchange between any of these you want to use, even for the stats, but these two are really necessary. You have to use these two. And the gameplay loop is simple. You get void weapon kills to get void weapon boost. It has good neutral gameplay as well as super gameplay. That's why I love this. Many people say that second chance is good, but the reason I think second chance is bad is like it just stuns the barrier champion. Why I would not use this thing right here to get, yeah, it looks cool, but it had like some people use second chance for Captain America fantasy, like shield throw fantasy, but I think that Doomfang is better than the second chance to fulfill that fantasy. So I think Doomfang is really 100 times better than these trash can. I think the second chance would be good if they give it an ability to get instant melee back, like Peregrine Greaves, if we hit 3 or 2 targets. So that only that thing could make it work, but I think they are pretty bad in right now. So this build we are using Coir of 1 a lot, so special ammo finder to get more special and increased ammo. We are using reserves to get like to carry 250 rounds on Coir of 1. We can use void holster, or you can also use this melee for melee energy, and this is a really solid setup for Onslaught. Okay, and third one, no, the fourth one I am going to show you is this one. This one is, I would say, yeah, this one is highly dependent on artifact mods due to anti-barrier shotgun. So abuse this, use this, whatever you want. For anti-barrier in GMs in which you have anti-barrier, you have to deal with barrier champions. this build is good right now, but after this mod is gone, anti-barrier shotgun is gone, this build would only be good in GMs with overloads and unstoppables due to this new Slayer Fang. Okay, so this build is really solid and simple. With Void, these arms, you can get 35% more damage with your shotguns. So we are using 2 arc shotguns and try to use this shotgun. Here you can use any perk, but right here you need Discord. You can find this shotgun through Lost Sectors and World Drops. What the fuck I am using here? I need this one. Okay, so this weapon is in my opinion really solid. So with this you kill 2 enemies with shotgun. You get overshield. You get overshield from Bastion. Here we don't need offensive bulwark. This is more of a DPS type of build and shotgun everything build. So we need Bastion with controlled demolition, scatter grenades for ad clear, and this is to create an orb of power and void breach with your undermining. These two components are the main components of the build. These 2 fragments are really important in this build so that you can have orb as well as void breach to get yourself this class ability as quick as possible, and to not use this shit, use this thing right here. So with that, when you pick up that orb, you get 10 to 12% of your class ability, and with void breach you get I think 12% of your class ability back. So it is really good to have these 2 in this build, and it is easy to get 100 resilience and 100 discipline these days. It's not hard. You can use Ward of Dawn if you want, but I prefer to use Sentinel Shield and these 2 things right here with this build. This is pretty solid for DPS. We are using here firepower to carry an orb, and also arc holster to self reload these 2 alternatively, and arc scavenger to get these weapons maxed out. I like Acreus. It is okay, not bad, not that good, but it is good, not bad. It is not bad. Okay. Though I like this one more than Acreus, but this feels better in this setup right here. Okay, you clear long range, you deal long range enemies with this thing, and 2 with these. So it is dependent on artifact mod for sure. The shotgun, anti-barrier shotgun, when this is gone, this build is going to be in the vault, and I will only use this build in future seasons only against unstoppable and overload champions. So this is a GM build and DPS build. In raids and dungeons it is okay, not bad, it is really good. And our 5th build is going to be this one right here. So this is our Rocket Man, and I love this build. I think grip is very good, that's why I'm showing it to you. Okay, so this build is about boosting your rocket damage, and it boosts this chest piece boosts all of your weapons, all of your rockets. You deal final blows with your any weapon, and it loads rocket, so it can affect all of these weapons. This is a rocket sidearm, so it gets more damage. This is Buried Bloodline, it is sidearm, not rocket sidearm, but I don't know why, but it gets buffed with Hazardous Propulsion. What? Why I'm using this one? Where is my high roll? I think this was the best. Okay, so, and I'm using rocket, void rocket. So use any void rocket you want to use with it. With Buried Bloodline and Tenacious Mastery, all these get buffed when you use your class ability. So to get more class ability, We are using here insulation, as well as we are using these two to get class ability whenever we cause damage with our grenade and melee. And right here we are using special ammo finisher for our special ammo for both of these. And right here we are using this combo of fragments to get even more class ability energy back when we defeat weakened targets. It is not necessary with this build, I'm sorry, it is not needed. Echo of undermining, you can use here the echo of sorry, this is not needed actually in this build. You have to use this thing. Where is echo of instability? Yeah, use this. Undermining is not needed in this build. So in this build we are using echo of instability to get volatile rounds so that we can stun barrier champions with these two weapons. And this build is going to be even more better when we are going to use when the anti-barrier sidearm is here. But till now with this setup you can almost stun every champion in the game. And I know it is not a stable way to stun barriers, but it is okay if you have teammates of two, team of two. So Bastion for abilities, the class ability to get yourself an overshield, and control demolition again for healing from these two. Use them to heal yourself, and with volatile rounds you get spread volatile effect everywhere. And right here you can use any of these two supers. Don't use Ward of Dawn except only one build up I'm going to show you after this one. So Void reserves to get ourselves more ammo for these two. And right here, not the Arc Siphon. Why I saved it on Void, I remember, I swear. Okay, with this build we are using here these two, so we can get both of these things. For our heavy we get heavy, and for our Buried Bloodline we can get special ammo on kills, so it is okay. Okay, now the last build I like is, it is actually one of my favorite builds right now. It is a sport build. You must have two teammates to use this build, so it is really good. It is not that effective. It is like just for Saint 14 fans, and it is like a cosplay build for Saint 14. I like this exotic. It looks really good. I think the Titan looks really good with that exotic. You feel yourself a Titan. Though you love Osiris or not, it is your choice. If you love Osiris, never mind. Okay, so we are using Ward of Dawn with this build. Offensive Bulwark, because we all the time we have Void over Shield, so we have Scatter Spam, 400 regen for our scatter grenades. Control Demolition is everywhere in my build, because if you are not using Control Demolition, I think you are missing a lot in your Void kit, especially on Void Titan. Okay, Perfect Paradox to make it even more Saint 14, and Edge of Action, we are using it here to create bubbles, because once you use this helmet, Ward of Dawn blind targets, so your bubble glaive can also blind targets with it. And with my first build you can also use Edge of Action instead of Vexcalibur, but Vexcalibur is way better in that build rather than Edge of Action. Edge of Action is really good with this build, and this is to stun over the barrier champions, and this is for bubbles for your teammates and yourself. Just spam bubbles, and we are using stacks on stacks to get 2 orbs after picking, two armor charge after picking 1 orb, and so that we can spam this finisher right here to create special ammo for our glaive. I am using 2 Lucent blades so that I can get my glaive energy full in 3 shots. Someone on the YouTube said you only need to use 1, but I have not tried it myself, but I'm just using 2 Lucent blades to get more Edge of Action, Grave Energy, and Ill Omen. I'm using it to create attrition orbs with cold steel. The reason I'm using attrition orbs with this one is that so I can create ammo for my Edge of Action with armor charges. So that's why I'm using attrition orbs and cold steel to stand both the overload and unstoppable champions. So, and special ammo finisher, we need a lot of special ammo with this weapon. That's why we are using special ammo finder X2 to get more special. So I think so these are the top 6, my favorite 6 void builds that I use the most, I love the most. And I'm going to make build video in detail on every one of these after this video. The first build we are going to discuss is going to be this one, and then after we are going to discuss the whale and others later one by one. So hope you have a nice day, and bye.